Pal, would you do the intros or should I do the intros?
You do intro as always, Datta. You are the one.
Yeah, fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
we are
right. Cool,
live.
cool, 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 cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unsophisticated Gentlemen. Unsophisticated Gentlemen refers to Rahul Pal Dattaprasad and me, Dattaprasad. And we have two guests today. First one is, let's start from the local one, Rupali Tyagi. Rupali Tyagi is local in two different ways. He is a comedian from Hyderabad, where I reside, and she is currently in Delhi, where Pal resides, and she starts from her background is in IT, but she does comedy based on family matters, pregnancy. Recently, she has released a video about massage parlors in Bangkok and how they are different. Pal, what are you doing?
आवाज आ
Sorry.
रहा था like I had muted this.
Yes.
Sorry. So sorry.
Nope,
Sorry.
nope, कोई बात नहीं. Okay, cool. Recently she has done a video about a visit to Bangkok, and now going all the way to New York. Here we have Laura Laham, and she is a Syrian American comic born in USA, and she does all sorts. Wait a second. First,
All
she's an
sorts.
engineer, just like Rupali, and she has worked in Mattel and Apple, and then continued to do stand-up comedy. And her stand-up comedy is often talks about love, relationship, and sometimes it dabbles with religion as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. She has a show called Seven Deadly Sins,
Yes.
where a part of it is like confession for audience, as per the show. And that's the extent of information that was available on internet. Now let's get now.
That's the AI version of Datta Prasad Good Bole.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Y'all
like
did
Alexa.
research.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like my Alexa actually. Like if you or Jamie basically. When I started doing podcast in India, I was looking for a Jamie, like how Joe Rogan has one, right? And Datta Prasad was the like best person to do that, but like he's not in Delhi, so we are doing this live stream. So Rupali was asking me how I get these comics to come on my stream. I just most time I have been texting everyone, like I have been texting Louis CK as well for a month now. Like please come on. Yeah, yeah. Like basically,
Wow.
someday if these things get viral, they like people will have a restraining like order on me. I think a few of the comics. Like I have also texted Adriana Lepelucci a lot of times. So like once I texted her because I really liked her special on Netflix. Then I sent her like I loved the special, and someone told me like someone in Masoom, if you know, like there's a comic in India, Masoom Rajwani. He also does a lot of political and satirical comedy. So he told me you should listen to Adriana, and she's just as funny as Louis C.K., but she is a woman. So that's how he introduced me to her. So I watched that set, and then I texted her, and she replied. So I was like, oh wow, like nah, like these like comics can reply as well, like nah. So, but after that, when I asked her for the podcast, she never replied back. So yeah, that's the thing. Then I have many common friends as well. Some of them came here, like some one Vinayak Pal from Chicago. No, Chicago, DJ Whiskey from Chicago. He came to India and he performed at my venue. So I know him through that, and then just ask him that give me another comic for another week. Sometimes I text comics if I find this at funny on Instagram. Like how I saw your reel, I think about the BDSM thing.
Rahul,
That was
I think at some point we need to start
asking question and
making each
yeah.
other feel that it was the right decision to come together and do this. He's like, I texted everybody, and you are the two
Yeah.
people
Yeah,
who
I'm being
replied.
honest. Yeah. Cool.
No, be honest. But just so you know, to be honest, it also makes me feel a lot less special.
Oh no, oh, don't feel like that
And
actually.
more of a dork for even replying, apparently.
Oh, sorry. Like I just told you that I liked your set as well. Like that joke was hilarious about BDSM being like Dom in BDSM thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I do
submissive. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
have a lot of material on that.
Yeah, like, so we can start talking about this. Yeah, you were asking her about the Thailand trip. Now we can start with that. Have you ever been to Thailand?
Nope.
Okay.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, Rupali, like you were telling about your set now.
Okay, so basically, it's not really about Thailand, but more so about what happened in the flight to Thailand from Delhi. So, but I'm assuming you will never face what I faced because you will not take a flight from Delhi to Bangkok.
Oh yeah.
It was a
Same.
very rowdy flight experience, and my friends who flew from uh, Bangalore, which is in the southern part of the country, they had a very different experience. So that set grew from there, where everybody, the boys in the flight were very rowdy, and they started shouting and chanting, and everybody had that look on their face. They thought that
Yes.
Bangkok is for one
Yeah.
purpose,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is sex,
Yeah. Of course.
and
Yes.
that's the look they had. So that's the entire premise of the set there.
It.
Anyway, but I think what got us to that point was Laura, your experience in Goa
Hmm.
and India.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So yes,
Because
so tell us about that.
Anyway.
You're,
Yeah.
do you
Continue.
want me to
Continue.
share with your majority Indian audience my thoughts on Goa?
Oh yes, yes, yes. Oh yes. Currently, Goa has its reputation quite in tatters because of
Hmm.
all sorts of different issues. So you might
Cool.
be helping them introspect. So yeah, please continue.
Okay, first of all, I had a lot of fun in Goa. I had a great time. I enjoyed the beach, I enjoyed the restaurants, I went shopping, I made connections, um, lifelong connections, I'm sure. I went to that one massive nightclub that is like 5 stories and
Hmm.
insane and so completely packed with people. It's a little crazy. Um, I had a great time, but I also did witness a fight on the beach between two men, one of whom was wearing those fake tattoo sleeves I mentioned. Which I'm okay. Look, I'm not a hater on people's style. I have fake henna tattoos right now on my hands, but the whole sleeve, like the whole fake tattoo sleeve, I was like, sir, you lost the fight from the very beginning. um, and also, I'm I I I'm pretty sure his name is Vishal, but it might not be. So shout out to maybe Vishal, the guy who I've been dating since 2015, I think, when I was there 10 years ago now. Um,
Since
who now lives in Mumbai. Cool. Good. Hi.
I
So did you like the was Goa the first place you went to when you came to India?
No, I wasn't even supposed to go to Goa. I was going to go to Kerala. And then everyone's like, well, you're a tourist. You should probably go to Goa. And I was like, oh, okay. I spent a week in the north. I did Delhi, Jaipur, and Agra.
Agra.
And then I did a week in the south where I did Goa and then Hyderabad.
okay.
Yeah.
And did you get a chance to perform at any of these places?
No, I did not. Oh my gosh. Okay, I started doing comedy right after I got back from India.
Oh.
I
Wow.
went to a wedding and I had a great time in India. Although I will say I have never seen traffic like that before in my life. And I've been to Egypt. It's bad in Egypt. India worse. I'm
Laura, we
sorry.
say that every day. We haven't seen this traffic in our lives also. Every day.
It blew my mind. Like I'm from the Middle East where traffic laws don't really exist. Lanes don't exist. Like you could just grab a motor vehicle and drive whenever. And I still was like, oh my God, India's insane.
Oh yes. By the way, this is how I differentiate cities. Although traffic everywhere is unruly, it's just the laws that they break are specific to one place. So people who drive in the wrong lanes are Hyderabadis,
Uh-huh.
uh, and people
Who
who
are
I think
driving
so
fast are
specifically,
from Delhi.
yes, uh, they'll run over and everything.
And people who can't drive
Bangalore.
are from Mumbai. Yeah, because there's no space to drive there. You
Yeah,
end up
yeah,
hitting
yeah, yeah.
someone.
Yeah. So
I'm a very proud New Yorker because like I grew up in New York. I learned to drive in New York. So I learned to drive in Brooklyn with the most insane traffic. I learned to drive around Manhattan with like the taxi cabs that drive like insane people. It's very aggressive the way we drive here. And even that, like I was not scared to be on the street until I got to India and I was like, oh, this is different.
oh,
This is a whole different level.
here's the thing. The driving in the New York, I believe, is on the right side of the road, and
Right.
in India, it is on the left side of the road. If you
It's
came to
actually
Hyderabad,
everywhere, but yeah,
huh?
it's actually everywhere.
Is it? Oh, but India, only in
No,
India
I
we have
mean,
it on
no, no,
the.
no. I'm saying in India, you can drive everywhere. There's no left and right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would feel right at home here, at least in Hyderabad, where everybody drives against the lane. So,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Speaking,
hi. So you went to Goa. Did you also play? Like there's a casino there. So you like did you go there as well? Like in India, only place where you can gamble actually. Like it's huge.
No, I didn't know that.
Huge on. Yeah, there's
I
so.
so
I would have.
Okay, you would have actually.
Listen, I gambled with my heart in Goa. Okay,
So how did you meet him?
that's all I had to give.
How did you meet that guy? Like, were you using Tinder or you just met him at a party?
Yeah.
Tinder.
Um, Tinder. Yeah. You know, it was one of those things where I was like, let's meet the locals, and I shouldn't have done that in Goa because everyone in Goa is tourists, even from other parts of India. But still, it was fun. You when I travel, sometimes I'll go on dating apps just to meet people and be like, okay, where should I go? I did that in India. I did that in Jordan and in Dubai. And I'm thinking that back on it now, all of them have been not great experiences. So actually, maybe I should stop doing that.
Yeah, just Google the things, Google the places and just go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just Google
Laura
it
is
from now
using it
on.
for
But I
directions.
think we
Dating
do
apps.
that. We always feel like when we're traveling that the locals might know a better place or they would take
Yeah.
to a like hidden gem of a place like that place no one like may yeah my tourist friend
Yeah.
didn't know about it but I dated a Indian guy so I know about that kind of place. You can
But
brag
I
about it like
feel like if you really ask people where should I go, usually they tend to give you the most
uh,
obvious answers because they take so much pressure of giving you a safe name. So they will always
Yeah.
tell you whatever the topmost three, four Google searches are.
mm-hmm.
I don't think you
So
usually
Is
get.
that what you did in Bangkok as well?
Sorry.
is that
Is
what
that
you
what you also did in Bangkok?
No, I am actually. I did. My friend made the entire. I had no idea where I was going. In fact, I was standing at the airport and I didn't know which city I'm going to. That's how clueless I was because my friend planned everything. And also, I don't use dating apps because I'm married. I have, and I'm very sad to tell you, Laura, that I never used a dating app ever in my life. That's my biggest
Good for
regret.
you.
Yeah.
No, no. You won. You
well,
won.
why
I,
though?
I
yeah,
mean, if it's a regret, Rupali, I mean, I'm just saying you and your husband can install Tinder
I have installed it. I have installed it.
and swipe each other right, and then
I installed Tinder once, and then I made a profile, and then I saw Vivek Muralidharan there.
Oh.
he's
So
another
Vivek
local comic.
Muralidharan, Laura, to give you context, is a comic, and he's a close friend, and he's a comic from Hyderabad, and he and I we jam a lot. So then I went on Tinder. I met him only, and then we were jamming jokes on Tinder. So
Array.
Wow,
Yeah.
Did
Okay, you're using it wrong, but I love that.
that's the only way I can use it.
so
did
Polly,
you
you
did
guys
you
have
have to?
how did you two guys like how did you now you were in college right?
Yeah, we
Same
were in
college.
college.
Yeah, college.
Like he was the
That's a
first
dream
guy.
to marry someone from your college actually. Like
No,
lots
the
of
dream is to marry someone from school. Actually, I
okay.
don't know if you know.
No, I thought
Am I
No,
the
college.
lead?
I have changed a lot of myself from
Yeah,
school, so
Datta won't marry
I
now. Datta won't marry anyone now. He has that at that stage.
Ranjit, what do
I
you think of Laura? What do you think of marriage?
oh yes.
Um, I think it's great for other people. Um,
I, yes, I was.
what wonderful for if it's what you want, I want that for you. There,
Yeah, why do I feel like a loser right now?
Oh no!
Good for you.
I literally went over this with my mom like yesterday because she was like literally like settle down, it's time, like give me grandchildren, and she does
She
that
did
every
this.
day. She literally every
Yeah.
single day she comes into my room and goes, look at the time, you're 34. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh gosh, look at that. But she's genuinely like settled down, and I'm like, I just don't want a man in my house. Like, I'm no offense, men, but like I want everything clean, and I want the kitchen cabinets closed, like it's just
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. No, I
I
agree
don't
with
want
that.
socks on my
Totally with
floor.
that. Yeah. In fact, I have changed a lot. Sorry, guys. Is this? Can we discuss marriage now that we're
Of
talking
course,
Yes,
about?
of course,
yes.
of course.
So,
You can bitch
uh,
about men.
I
We are
was
listening.
of the opinion. I was of the opinion that marriage is great and everybody should get married. And I have a close friend who stays in Bangalore, by the way, and she's a musician. And I used to, and she's still not married and very happy in her life. And there was a point where I was going and finding guys for her. I was like, I think this guy, look at this profile. Because in my head, I thought maybe she's not getting people, but that wasn't the problem. I was like, maybe I can help, And then I realized over the years, I see her very happy in her place and very living a very fulfilled life. And she believes in whenever the right person comes will come. She's not in a hurry. So now, like over the years, like I have changed, and now I don't go and tell people why don't you get married. But I was your mother at some point of time.
Yeah.
It's 5 p.m. You are still not married.
Listen, I'm waiting for my mom to get to where you are now, where she's like, what will be, will be. When it happens, it'll happen.
Yeah.
And that way I don't have to explain to her that it'll happen when I apparently change my entire worldview on relationships.
Also,
Yeah.
parents do this thing, na, they compare, like, they try to show you the positive side of marriage by giving examples from their marriage. Like, does that happen with you as well, Laura? Like, do your parents tell, like, see us, we have been so happy for so long,
Oh,
something like
they can't do that because I grew up with them. So I know the truth. Like, you can try that. You can be like, oh, I love that I have somebody to come home to. And I'm like, really? Just to yell at? Like,
that?
I love that I have somebody who's going to take me to the doctor. And it's like, he forgets every doctor's appointment you've ever made him. Like, what are you talking about? I grew up with you. I know the truth. You can't play that game with me. I just,
Yeah.
I'll use the reality I lived in
Hmm.
for context. How
Yes,
about that?
Wow. Like,
yes.
your parents must be really like, I think it's the New York parents thing that they are listening to her because our like my mom is planning to get me kidnapped and get me married then. Like this happens in India. Yeah, she always threatens me like if you don't marry then we will get you kidnapped and we will get you married. Like won't even know. And this happened with my friend as well. Like he just went his dad called him. Yeah, his dad called him and asked him to come to his hometown. Okay, so he went there, and a few weeks later, we are seeing his pictures of his wedding. So they just called him there, and then they got him
Oh,
married. Yeah, this
oh,
happened.
Oh my
Which
God.
city is this? Which city is
Bhubaneswar, I
this?
think Bhubaneswar, like somewhere in Orissa. Bhu-
It happens in Bhubaneswar. I had heard tales of this from Bihar.
Bihar and UP, I know, but like it happened in Bhubaneswar as well. I think Jharkhand, like every Indian state has similar patterns. I feel if you go
yeah.
deep down inside.
That one day an Odia father decided to do this. What will you do?
You
What
can't
will
say
you do?
you are
This, you can't say no, no. This happens in Bihar only.
But imagine like how stressful is it to like plan a wedding and everything, and then like also to like find the right person and date and then propose. Like if you just show up and you're like, oh, you're getting married, honestly, I'd be like, all right, like this, done with it.
It's like taking Molly, right? Okay, like let's party then. We are here.
By
Oh.
the
Okay,
by the
sorry.
way, by the way, by a few comedians' accounts, it just doesn't stop there. Husband is kidnapped. He is made to marry, and until he has sex with his wife, one person just stays guard near him, and he stays with him, and he witnesses that he is doing his wife or not for the first time, and un-
Ah,
what?
watching YouTube videos.
I don't know. This is a
No, this
proper.
is Laura. This is just these are just aberrations. This is not what happened.
Not all
This
this
is
is
usually
No. I've seen videos like this online. Like, there's people who like watching. That's fine.
No,
Then
this is the stand-up set of a fellow comedian, Sumit Sarov. So
Oh,
okay.
right.
yeah, yeah.
So you also came for a
Stand up.
wedding here in India, right? How was that wedding?
oh, it was so fun. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, it
they
was
must have
3
made you
days.
feel very special, right? Were you the only foreigner friend there at the wedding, or like they had? Okay.
No, there was a bunch of foreigner friends because I met this person in college,
Mm-hmm.
and she had come to the States for school, and then met her husband in San Francisco. So he's also from India, but yeah, she was like, of all people to fall in love with, it was somebody else who also needed a green card. She was really upset about that. Um, but it worked out fine. They're doing great. But they did have a real big wedding in India and invited a bunch of friends from college. So it was like a ton of foreigners from all around the world that went to the wedding.
I can imagine a few conservatives listening to this story and they're like illegal immigrants. That's why we don't like them because they are just here for the green card.
By the way,
Uh-huh.
all of this, does it sound like one of the shows you do in Deadly Sins, where everybody is talking about all their darkest, deepest secrets and siniest stuff here? Is that how it goes?
So, kind of. It took a while to get the show format right, but we do ask our audience members to confess their, deadliest sins. But we do it anonymously. So we give them paper and they write it out on there. And if they want to share, they can. And if not, then they don't. But most of the time they do. And they put them in a bucket. And then at the next show, we'll pick a couple from the previous show to read out loud and decide if it's a sin or not. Most of the time we're like, this isn't a sin. Like one person mentioned that they had lied on their resume to get a job and then got the job and then had to like learn how to do that thing really quickly. And I was like, that's just economics. Like that's just how you get a job nowadays.
That was a smart move. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's what we all like, everyone lies on their resume. Like that's not a sin.
Yeah.
And everyone in the crowd was like, yeah, that's fine. So we were like, okay, not a sin. You're forgiven. Moving on.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
almost like saying that my deadliest sin is that I once crossed the red light. Right, like that's
Okay, yeah, yeah.
it's
And by
But
the way, Laura, what was the sort of inspiration behind this format? Was our Reddit confession pages, or am I the asshole type of forums that
Oh my
got you to
gosh.
make this? Yeah.
No, I mean, I first of all, I love the confession pages on Reddit, and I do go through all of the Am I the Asshole pages. The inspiration was, I think, so I grew up Christian, and my best friend also grew up Christian, but neither one of us is Catholic, which I think is where the 7 deadly sins come from. So we just had like this general I mean, I'm also no longer religious at all. So still I have this like fascination with religious history. And the 7 deadly sins are so ridiculous to me because there's just so they feel so outdated, right? There's like envy, there's gluttony, there's sloth, like all of these things that like can translate into the modern world, but like don't always. Because now we're like, girl, take a break. It's fine. Like self-care, like that's important to you. And then there's so many things that should be deadly sins that aren't. Like I have on the list looks like murder, lying, low cut jeans, male podcasters, Delta Airlines, like all of these things should be deadly sins. These should be the type of sins that get you sent to hell, and they're not on the list. It's just like lust. You're like, I think we're done slut shaming. You can be lustful. It's fine.
If you have lust, include bread also. Yeah, it can't be.
Right?
Yeah.
Gluttony is there.
Yeah, gluttony is there.
Gluttony is on there, but it should just be gluten. Eat all you want, just no carbs.
So how long have you been doing comedy, Laura?
Just over 6 years now.
6 years.
Yeah. Doing stand specifically.
How did it happen for you? Like what happened? What was the first mic like?
And I feel like I have a very typical story for stand-up where I went through a breakup and
really?
It was not fun.
I think Vinod
I
also
went through a
started
bad
doing comedy.
breakup.
Vishal or Vinod also started doing comedy after that. Sorry.
Really?
Continue. Yeah.
I'm just joking.
Everybody.
Yeah. There's like this theory in the United States, mostly in Los Angeles. That's where I grew up in comedy, where any white guy, as soon as they go through a breakup, legally they have to do an open mic. So there's a lot of that, and I fell into that trap. But I loved comedy. I grew up watching Comedy Central Presents. I was always watching stand up whenever I could. I became like obsessed with a couple of the comedians, and I just loved it. And then eventually, after this breakup where I was like rock bottom, like can't feel any worse, might as well try stand-up comedy. That's when I did my first open mic, and I was like, oh no, this is now my new obsession. Like that's it. That was 6 years ago. So
It was in
since then,
New York only. And how did the set go?
that was in Los Angeles. So I
Oh.
started in Los Angeles, where I was there for a long time, and then last year I moved to New York.
Oh, right. Acha, okay. So I listened to one of your podcasts. It was like comics from LA. I thought it was later on. Like you were just traveling or touring there, and then but you started from LA.
Mhm.
So how was the
Yeah,
set? Like,
I used to love
did
it.
you like make jokes about your ex? Like, what did you talk about in that?
There was some things, when you start comedy and you're like, okay, here's all the things that's ridiculous that is making me laugh, because if I don't laugh, I'll cry. But then, after you're a couple of years in, you're like, was that a joke or was that just a confession? Like,
Right.
yeah, there was a lot of that. But also at the time, I was also an engineer, and working in engineering there's so much material there. I had some really wild, really fun coworkers. So they even just like the things they said, I didn't even have to write jokes. I was like, this is something that this person said, and the audience would be like, yeah, that's stupid. Like, sure.
And since your background is in science, and did it eventually influence your comedy? Like you do comment about religion, you do comment about God. I mean, not God. So far, whatever is available on the internet, that is Jesus. So, does your scientific outlook influence that, or is it just natural evolution?
I mean, it's all a part of who I am, and that all informs my worldview. So I would say I don't necessarily. I mean, I approach things like an engineer. So I think logically, I break things down logically, and that helps when I like plan a tour, or if I'm trying to like, I don't know, put together a show. But then when it comes to writing, it really is just like what made me giggle, or like what do I think is ridiculous. And sometimes that comes from science, just like really stupid ideas from science. I have jokes about robotics and AI, and there's a joke I have about the dinosaurs all like going extinct, not because of a meteorite, but because of vaccinations. Like one of them vaccinated its kids, and then of course that led to their extinction. Just like really stupid ideas from science, like from my science background. I recently got in a little bit of trouble because I studied astrophysics when I was in high school, and so I know Pluto was never supposed to be a planet. It was a dwarf planet, and there are several dwarf planets in our solar system. One of them is in between Mars and Jupiter in the asteroid belt, and there's larger ones than Jupiter, larger ones than Pluto rather. So I know Pluto was never supposed to be a planet, and the Museum of Natural History, the planetarium, Hayden Planetarium, never said it was a planet. They were always saying it was a dwarf planet. Anyway, so when I was in high school, they were like, okay, so we're going to demote Pluto from a planet to dwarf planet, and millennials lost their minds. I recently put that in a joke where I was like, I never thought Pluto was a planet, and I got hate for it.
I've never been able to understand. I've never been able to grasp that outrage as of now.
People have so much identity like tied to it, and I don't understand why.
Even
I'll point to Pluto on a map.
What were they
And
telling
out
you?
of
Like,
all-
were they telling you that don't hate on Pluto? He's like just leave it alone or something like that? Like,
Yeah.
what angry? Just
Yeah.
yes.
Like I'm not, it hasn't happened, but I am worried that I'm going to be at a show and someone's going to come up onto the stage and slap me and just be like, keep Pluto's name out of your mouth, you know?
I did a joke
Wow.
about globes recently, and someone took offense on that also. Where I was basically
Really?
telling them how our parents gifted us a cheap blue plastic globe, and then there was an entire act out about that. And then somebody was like, "The globe, those plastic globes were not cheap. They taught us about the world. Don't call the globe cheap."
Okay, I thought you were going to say that they were like flat earthers. Like they
Oh,
went up
no.
there and they're like, globes aren't real. This is fake. This is round. It's wrong.
Actually, there are
I,
flat earthers in India. Actually, yeah, very few.
not yet. No,
Really?
there are a few, but not enough to make any noise yet. Uh, we have our own scientific issues, but flat Earth is not yet. People still believe in vaccinations so far,
Yeah, but like she was
and
still right about the Pluto thing. Like scientifically, if you see it, like it is right. But I recently saw like Joe Rogan podcast on it. There's one actor. He was on some TV show, Terrence Lawrence or like some Lawrence
Terrence Howard, he's an
Terrence Howard.
actor. He tries
Yeah,
to.
Terrence
Okay.
Howard. Yeah, so he was saying two one plus one is not equal to two, right? And he got mocked.
Oh, dude. I have an interesting thing to say about this. It's not that Terrence Howard is right. He's certifiably insane. The thing is that 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. There is a very proper mathematical, huge tome about that. It uses very complex theories and everything just to show how 1 plus 1 equal to 2 works.
Okay,
So
so Datta was the flat Earth, like only guy
no,
who
it's
believes in
not.
flat.
It's not about flat. It's not about flat Earth. It's related to whole how mathematics works.
Okay,
So
so
Yeah.
uh,
But I
okay.
noticed when Laura was telling the story
Mhm.
about Pluto, she was herself very passionate about it.
yeah.
When she was talking about her breakup, she was smiling
Yeah.
and but Pluto, that bit had anger. So how can you complain when somebody takes
Yeah.
offense? When you are angry yourself, Laura.
That's true. I didn't even piece that together. You're right. There was a lot of passion there. I just really firmly believe in this.
But the entire
So,
breakup story was very breezy.
yeah.
Oh yeah. So like anyway,
Yeah.
that's true.
Breakups happen many times. Pluto, that's
Yeah,
the
Pluto
rarer thing
happens.
there.
Yeah.
Yes, that I
Exactly.
agree. Yes, yes. I'm with
It's
you, Laura. Bring them back.
uh, and now let's talk about a few things that are currently happening there. Being now, Laura is not exactly an immigrant. She was
Yeah, she's
born
first
in the
generation, I
US,
think.
right?
Yeah.
First generation American citizen, and currently no, we are not political. We can have our own bents here. But so, how has the experience been since the
Yeah, you
Trump
have
has
seen
gotten
Trump.
in? And
You have seen Trump twice, right? In power.
Yes. I thought you were gonna say in person. No, I've
Oh no
never seen him in person, but
no.
yeah, in power, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
So how was the
and
Yep.
time
it's
in
and
between both of it? Like how was the time?
it's surprising because she has received flack for Pluto and not her being Syrian or anything yet.
Right.
Well,
Or
it's
maybe yeah.
definitely impacted my career. I'll say that. I've been open and vocal about Palestine and all of that, but it's definitely like lost me work. But
Oh,
that's work I don't want. Then
Hmm.
yeah.
um, the the thing about Trump being back in office now is his okay. As a Syrian person, it really like I have to laugh. Like it's comical, right?
Yeah.
Because everything that they would always say about the different parts of the Middle East, oh, this is a dictator, the way he's behaving is like a dictator, Bashar is a dictator. Like yeah, sure, I agree. But you turn around and literally America's doing exactly the same thing. And then all of a
Hmm.
sudden you're like, but this is part of our democracy. It's not part of our democracy. Actually, this is all the things that were told we fight against and stand up for and all of this stuff. So, yeah, I'm personally a bit like I'm just not traveling a whole lot more outside of the States. I know that there's been a lot of drama around people who have criticized Trump, not just been openly talking about politics, but like him specifically. So that's getting more worrisome. But then there's that part of me that's like, you guys said this about Syria. What's happening now? Watching the empire fall from the inside is interesting. I'll say that. It's entertaining and terrifying.
So I was curious about it, like because we also have similar government in India right now. Like a lot of comics are
Mhm.
afraid to say things on stage. But I also read news in about US that like a lot of people who talked about Palestine, like they are either deported or they are getting, like a lot facing lots of protest or ban. So do you also get
Mhm.
afraid of talking about Palestine on stage or like? And does it directly impact you?
I'm I'm not afraid to talk about it because I don't necessarily have the kind of career that would be like I can't be canceled. I'm not a person of
Hmm.
interest the most like at all. I'm not a public figure. Uh, so go ahead, cancel me. Like it'll just get me more media attention. Um,
Yeah.
literally, I'm like, yeah, go ahead, try and cancel me. You can't cancel what's never been started. I
Mhm.
talk about it on stage because it's my truth and it's what I believe. And um, if I don't, the thing is, here's what I find: most people that I interact with, most people that come out to comedy shows, like they're all not just very like liberal, not just out for a good time. They also care about other people, like they're empathetic people, and that's what brings people to comedy because that's what you're like. Oh, I want to go and relate to somebody. That's what makes things funny. Like I have a shared sense of humor. So those people also understand, okay, human rights are still a thing. And
Hmm.
so when I talk about Palestine on stage, I find for the most part people agree. And the ones who don't agree are the ones who are like maybe, will out themselves and then you can just make fun of them and be like, oh, okay, this person's not interested in human rights. Cool. Good to know. um, So I don't know. I'm not really that scared of talking about it. And if I get deported, I don't know. I'll find a
Mm-hmm.
I I'll find a nicer. I'll find a place that has healthcare. How about that?
So the
All come
main.
to Goa.
Mhm. So the mainstream comedy, if you look at like from a like our Indian perspective, so we either see Joe Rogan, Andrew Schultz, and all these comics, or we either see Trevor Noah and the Tonight Show, like
Mhm.
John Oliver, right? So is the scene on the ground, like the open mic scene and the other comics, like is the scene divided because of the politics, or like you guys all perform at the same stand, it's okay? Like how is the scene there now?
It's so mixed. It's so mixed. There's a lot of spaces that are very like very liberal. There I shouldn't even say liberal. There's a lot of spaces that are very uh, open.
Mm-hmm.
They're okay with talking politics. They're like they welcome it. They honestly sometimes like just want to hear their own experiences parroted, uh, or just feel like somebody else understands. Um, but the big clubs, like the major clubs, people I think are a little bit less uh, ready to talk
Yeah, even I
politics.
felt that. Yeah. Like there's a
Yeah,
few comics have told me that if you are a bit like on the woke side, they will automatically like tag you with that and then like not laugh at you or like just say like, "Ah, it's not that funny actually."
yeah.
Yeah, there's
Also,
that.
it's insane that people will be like, "Oh, that's a woke comic." It's like, okay,
Hmm.
yes, that means I'm aware of the world around me. Like, I don't. Okay, great. Like, kind of my job.
Oh. By the way, Pal, just saying, you follow Joe Rogan, you follow Andrew Schultz.
I follow him.
I'm just curious. That is very extremely male specific, male comic thing. I'm not
Hmm.
sure what Rupali follows. I
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah, Rupali, what do you have
I
any
don't.
influences outside?
I don't follow these guys, and my favorite is my latest favorite, and I am so obsessed about him. Is Nate Bargatze.
Oh,
Hmm.
nice, nice,
Yeah,
nice.
he's funny,
Yeah.
very funny.
Do you like him too, Laura?
Hmm.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
he's great. I love
Yeah,
him.
yeah. And I just listen to podcasts by people or with people who I like. So, for example, Nate Bargatze, I've heard most of his podcasts,
Hmm.
and Brian Regan, I've heard
Ah, right.
everything that's on the
Mark
internet.
Maron.
Mark Maron, I have not so much yet. I will discover him, but like these are some of the guys that I have. I love
I will
Brian
tell
Regan.
you, it's
Hmm.
like really creative, really. I wouldn't even say clean, necessarily clean, but very creative comedians. My favorite is Maria Bamford.
Oh,
Ah,
yes,
right. Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
she's great.
I discovered her
Absolutely
recently,
genius.
but yeah, she's amazing, and her
Hmm.
act outs are great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I really
But
like
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Tina Fey
also
as
I
well. I think she wrote the tightest comedy show ever, like 30 Rock. I think it has the
oh
tightest writing. Yeah, jokes by jokes. Like you will see so many.
Wait.
Hmm.
Maria Bamford was on 30 Rock? I didn't know. Oh.
I'm talking about Tina Fey.
no
he's
Tina
As a
talking.
Fey.
Tina Fey. Oh,
Yeah.
Tina Fey. Okay, fine. All right. And, uh, and
Welcome
by the
back to the
way,
conversation.
no, I was still thinking about Maria Bamford. Okay, fine. I lost track somewhere. But yeah, by the way, Brian Regan has a brother, and he sounds exactly like Brian Regan and has perspectives just as creative as him. His name is Dennis Regan, and quite amazing guy. Agar, if you ever get a chance, please do listen to him. He has some of the most, I mean, these Brian Regan and other Nate Bargatze, these are always called as clean comics, and I feel they don't do
Yeah.
justice to their creativity because their thoughts are so creative. Brian Regan, again, Brian Regan usually does family friendly material, and at in one of his jokes, he says that I don't want to offend anyone's beliefs, but here we go, and he talks about psychics and how psychics can justify anything. Like they will find someone say, "Did someone die from your family?" Of course, someone will die from someone's family, and they tell him. They had a natural death. Somebody tells them that, okay, no, he was hit by a cannon, and then he turns it into so naturally. So they died naturally. So naturally they died, and this kind of thinking which makes you question psychics. I haven't seen many comics do that, uh, and being clean comic doesn't really justify that. Yeah,
Which
matlab,
comics did inspire you the most when you started doing comedy?
Laura.
Yeah.
Um, wow. Where do I start? So when I started like really getting into stand up, I was obsessed with Tig Notaro.
Oh yeah.
She's so good, wonderful, like
Yes.
just the best storyteller. Maria Bamford for her creativity. I like Mike Kaplan because he does a lot of wordplay. He's really heady. Also has a bit about psychics being real or not. Beth Stelling was huge for me also. She's just, I saw her live a bunch of times before I started doing comedy, and it just was so effortless for her. It just was like so natural. I was like, oh, it made me feel like I could do it. I was like, oh, I want to be like her. I want to just go on stage and talk and be silly and to have a good time. She was a huge inspiration. Natasha Leggero was also huge for me. I loved Janelle James, so good. I like Hannibal Burr. Like there's so many, there's so many different comedians who like, just from their point of view. Jen Kirkman was huge for me. I met her and I told her that, and then she was like, okay, thanks. And then she quit comedy. I was like, oh God, okay.
What?
She quit comedy.
She did. She stepped away from stand up for a while.
Oh,
I don't know if she's going to come back to it or not, but from what I've heard, she's like just taking a break from it.
I mean, I understand the break, given the controversies and everything, but damn, she was funny. And by the way, Pal, are you noticing the number of women she is talking
yeah,
about?
I am.
Comedy is not just Schultz, Rogan, and Kill Tony, just saying.
No,
Yeah,
I'm just
after
talking
you
about
mentioned
the
all
jokes
these
that are
people,
made on the like mainstream media right now. I was just talking about that.
you know,
Datta. Uh-huh.
there
Yeah.
is one comedian I
I
discovered. Have you watched Susan Rice? She is this old comic, and is she big? Like, but I really find her very, very funny, and she looks like she has been doing it for a long time. She must be in her 70s. She goes by the name of Funny Old Bag, something like that. Let me just.
Pal, would you like to search it and put it on screen if
Sure,
possible?
sure, sure.
Yeah, Funny Old Bag, Susan Rice.
Oh,
That's the
yes.
name.
I've seen
Yeah.
it. Uh,
Okay, 1 second. I'll just Google it.
think it also just goes to tell you like what we find relatable, because that's one of the things that like you find comedy in. And for me, it's a lot of female specific experiences, I guess, like
Okay.
Jen Kirkman
It's
being
not.
like one of
Okay,
the
this
main
is
ones.
something else. Suzanne
No,
is posting.
This
no.
No.
Just type funny old bag Instagram and then old bag.
and that's
Okay.
Yeah,
why we
there
should
you
have
go,
more
Susan
women
Rice.
on this podcast. Yeah, continue.
Oh my God. Wow.
Wow,
Hang on, we need to add
Big
her.
basket, delivering in 10 minutes.
they are Indian people
सिंपल
players.
लिया है
Oh
How about
God.
और भी तो कूलर हैं कम वाले
This is so fascinating. I haven't seen.
Close it.
Yeah, I think we can watch it later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Copyright strikes too. So that and uh, try out Tanya
Yeah, we were
Lee.
talking about Susan was sharing. Sorry, Susan, not Susan. Laura was saying
Laura
something.
Singh, yeah. Shared
What was
Confuse me with Susan
experiences.
Rice. Go ahead. That's fine by me. Yeah, that's so like a lot of. I mean, I'm sure, Rupali, you get this all the time too. Like, I literally every day see another comment about how women aren't funny, and I'm like, men aren't funny. Actually, no offense,
Yeah, of course.
guys, but I'm like,
Uh,
that's just I'm
Fair
not what you
assessment.
relate to because I don't have the same experiences as you, and you're not what I relate to because I don't have the same. You don't have the same. Yeah, still. So people are like, mostly men are like, well, women aren't funny, and I'm like,
Yeah, like a
so
lot of
also,
time guys don't get it only. Like they are not talking
yeah,
about you.
yeah, like you're not my audience. Like, I'm not trying to take your money just
Yeah.
because you probably have more of it.
Also,
So,
even if they like you as a
Hmm.
comedian, I usually see this compliment on every female comics video, which says you are the only female
Female
comedian I
comic.
like. That is one. And you were able, I didn't like any of them, but you, miss, you were able to impress me. Oh my God, thank you for that. There is
Yeah,
one more that we get, you, and this I find like on everybody's, there is one person who will say you are the best female comedian,
Yeah.
yeah.
and every female comedian is the best female comedian.
and I, Rupali, you do you get also those comments?
Like
Matlab,
India,
uh,
this also happens. Like if any like of the female comics, if they are making jokes about sex, then automatically it becomes unfunny because they're like, "You don't talk about it." And sometimes when the female comic is not making jokes about sex, then they're like she's the nicer comic. Like the comedy should be like that. That also happens in India. Like they just don't want them to
Yeah.
talk about sex at all because a lot of men are insecure as well in India, I feel. Like they are just thinking themselves in that zone. Like if some girl is making sex
You don't
joke,
even have to add in India. A lot of men are insecure, period.
yeah,
I'm
okay.
sorry. It's just true. Yeah, that's we get that a lot also, like whenever a woman on stage talks about sex or genital like or anything, it's like all female comics talk about is their periods. You know, like not even what this
Yeah.
joke was about. I had that on a video about my safe word, which is literally just like the word you say when you're in
Yeah, right.
doing stuff with someone, but you need it to stop. And I was like, okay, so I was just making fun of what my safe word is because it has to do with religious trauma. So I made my safe word repent. um, and honestly, the joke, 10 out of 10, brilliant joke. But of course, it went online where men are, and men were like, all female comics talk about is sex and their periods. And I was like, this joke is about not having sex. Okay. This joke is really about stopping something all of you, I'm sure, are very experienced in, actually.
Yeah.
So even when you're not talking about it, they're like, this is all you talk about. That's not what this is.
You know,
This
my
is a joke.
when I first started getting hate, I was it really affected me. There was one reel that got viral, and I have around 10,000 comments on it, out of which 9,900 must be hate comments only. So it did affect me. But after so many hate comments, you're like, okay, bring it on. This is engagement. And now we are at a
Yes.
stage. Yeah. Now my husband, as soon as he celebrates it, he's like, "Hey, hate is coming!" Like, now the video is working. I remember in one of the shows that we were doing, it was a lineup show, and interestingly, on that lineup, there were more female comics than men that day.
Mhm.
And few of my friends came. Like one of my friends, she got some of her flatmates to come with her. And then after it was a great show. Everybody did well, and especially the 3 4 women who were there on the lineup. They were really good that day. And my friend's friend told me that before she booked the ticket, she told her brother that this is the show that she plans to go to, and his brother said, "Don't you see there are so many female comics on the lineup? It's not going to be funny."
Oh.
And she came just because just because I was a friend's friend. That's
Mhm.
why she came. And then she was like, "But sorry, interestingly, only female comics were funny on the lineup that day." And she said that you guys were funnier than everybody else. uh, but imagine the roadblocks for them to come to a show with all these kind of biases that are around them, that even while you're booking a ticket, somebody will come and say in your ear that this is a wrong decision that you're making. That's the level of biases that we have to
So
cross
one
to
of the
finally have.
viewers is asking a
And
question. So we have some people who are watching it live as well. So they are asking.
Congratulations. No,
क्या है?
मजाक कर रही हूँ.
Wow, Rupali.
Yeah, I completely forgot. I was just talking to you guys like in a Zoom
Right,
Zoom.
meeting.
right, right.
Yeah.
So he's asking, let us hear what has been the most awkward moment for both Rupali and Laura during their stand-up. Awkward moment, if you can remember one, and if you don't want to answer, then just we can. You don't have to.
I think
Where
there
do
are,
I begin?
yeah.
Many.
I was also saying that there are many.
I did a show recently. So because I'm from Syria, I have like my heritage has history with the French and Lebanese people. We are very closely connected with Lebanese people, and my cultural background is from specifically the Damascus Beirut governorate. So like it is specifically to that chunk of the world. And amongst, Arabs in general, we have our own internal jokes about Lebanese people being quite queer. And then I have a personal just like connection with the French because my country was colonized by the French, ruled by the French for a long time, has a huge influence on Syria and Lebanon. And I make fun of French people. I make fun of Lebanese people. And then I had a friend of mine ask me to open for her. She's Lebanese. And I was like, sure, of course. Did not put too much thought into it. And then I get to the show, and it's a celebration. The whole show is a celebration of Lebanon put on by the NYU Department of French Studies. So I get there and I'm on stage and I'm like, am I being set up? Is this revenge? Like I was so nervous the entire time I was on stage because I was like, this either is going to go viral or I'm quitting comedy. I don't know. Something just, it was so awkward. I hadn't been that burning red hot on stage in so long. I was drenched in sweat. That was, and I wish I could say like that was early in my career and now I've learned and I know better. That was like 2 weeks ago. Recent. Oh my gosh, that's definitely one of the top most awkward moments for me.
Yeah.
It's surprising that it's not the story of a bombing. It's just the setup itself is awkward and completely against you.
Yeah.
So awkward.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think
And
Rupali.
I just,
Rupali.
when Laura was talking, I remembered a similar logistical nightmare. I was doing a show in Hyderabad, and this was a corporate show for a company, and I never got to discuss the setup with the client directly. And it was a Diwali event, and when I go there, I see that it's, of course, it's in the open. That part I knew, but then it was like a staircase. It was a staircase arrangement, and people were very spaced out, and there were kids running all around. There were even pets there. Yeah, and one of the staircase, I stood there, and people were eating also. There was a buffet which was open, so there were hardly like one or two tables paying attention to me, and then kids were playing, and then there was this I don't know what it was, a structure built near me, and a kid came, and she stood there on that structure. She was about to fall. Middle of my act, I'm like I protected the child. I took her in my arms. I put her down, and then I continued with my set. And so all this is happening while I was performing stand up. So I was like saving babies. I was saving myself also. Um, but yeah, but from that part, I thought every time like I have a show, I have to have a direct client interaction and not go
Mm.
just through. This was one, and the one that I remembered was, sometimes, it happens that some people are not really comfortable having a woman on stage.
Mm.
They're just not okay with the idea, and it's not very often, but it happens. It does happen. They're not okay with the idea, and sometimes, especially in Delhi, and they cannot look her in her eye. Like they feel very shy
Mm.
that she's performing. They are feeling shy, and they cannot look into your eyes. They look like this, so that becomes very awkward, because you feel like, why is my presence making you uncomfortable? And sometimes there are people uh, who, first of all, they're not comfortable with your presence, and secondly, they are also evil, say, so they want you to be uncomfortable also. And then with those uncomfortable eyes, they look at you in your eye.
Mm.
And it happened with me in one show where I was talking to the audience, and I asked this question to one guy, and he just looked into my eye and he did not answer me. And I said, "Sir, I'm talking to you." And he just looked at his friend and did not answer me again. Like complete
Disregard.
disrespect. And
Mm.
yeah, yeah. And I was so angry because I knew what I was seeing in his eyes. I know that look. I know
Mm.
that look of, I don't care and I don't give a fuck about you, and I want to humiliate you. And then I told him that, "Sir, I don't think you have seen a woman performing before." He just kept, even before, he would laugh at when I started my joke, like when I was setting up, he would laugh at that point, and then he would be quiet at the punchline, because he was not laughing at the joke, he was laughing at the fact that I was performing.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
that
that.
day I was guilty.
Yeah,
Oh,
like Delhi crowd
fine.
is like that at times I have seen.
Yeah, this was Gurgaon.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like
Good.
And the
that.
thing is, somebody who is watching from the back would not know what
Hmm.
happened. They would think that this woman just got,
And
she got affected. She took it
mm.
too hard. But as a woman, I know what he was doing to me,
Mm.
because I was the one looking into his eyes. So
Wow.
yeah, that it's difficult to explain to somebody who
Uh-huh.
has not had that direct eye to eye connection. But yeah.
Yeah, I
I,
used to get
it,
that, like I don't think that's exact look, but like I used to have a lot like a long beard earlier, and a lot of people used to think I was a Muslim, so I used to get that look a lot. Like they will just see me and just hate me through their, like, I think they had some imaginary laser eyes that they want to like just burn you, or like they had that look, like when Superman had that laser eyes. Yeah,
Judgmental, they
yeah,
had the
yeah, like that.
judgmental.
Yeah, so we have one more question from our viewers. So this is, Laura, have you heard boring long stories from people which goes nowhere and has no point? I think it's a very random question, but
what? What?
yeah, like it was a question from before. There is the time, like timing is like that, but it was a question from before. We are just going
Okay.
through the order, like.
Sounds
Okay.
like a comment to me.
No, 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 no. It was a question from before. Sorry, sorry. Yeah, but like it was a question from before. Not yeah, because this story had a point, and that viewer asked it
It
before.
seems like a we'll dig at someone here,
No,
but
bro, I can
continue.
see I can
Yeah,
see the
yeah.
time now. Like, nah, the chat happened a lot earlier actually. So
Okay,
yeah, don't have to think like
continue.
that.
Okay.
I mean, if
I'm
that's commentary on how I tell stories, sometimes true. Yeah, even I sometimes I'm like, what was the point of my story, and why am I still telling it? It
uh,
happens.
I'm actually
Yeah,
surprised
and
by
one comment,
Rupali's
kudos
story
to both
here.
Laura and Rupali for being ferocious with their art. Like one of the viewers just said that. Yeah, okay. So it's almost 12:15 now. We are up to like 1 hour 4 minutes mark, and Rupali has to leave for her flight, right? Rupali, do you have some more time? Like we can
Yes.
do a last question, or
Yes.
you have to leave now?
No, let's do one more question and then.
Okay, Datta.
Okay, good. क्या मैं
Oh, I
तू
thought
मुझे
you.
बोल रहा है
No, no,
क्वेश्चन?
there was like you had some last
No, no,
question.
I don't have, I mean,
Okay,
I
so
would
I
have just
wanted to
continued
ask,
the conversation here.
so this Seven Deadly Sins show, are you going to stream it somewhere, or where, like, because we are also like in process of making lots of properties in India. We do several kinds of live shows, themed live shows, but I just wanted to like
Yeah.
learn as well from you guys, like, how do you plan it? Where do you now plan to take it, the show, and like, or just you're doing it for live shows?
Yeah, great question. Right now it's just a live show, and it's actually we're taking a break from it right now because producing is a lot of work. My co-producer, my best friend Yesh Malik, who's one of the funniest people I've ever met, he is also a LA comic, moved to New York, and now both he and I are like on our way back to the West Coast. He's dealing with some family issues at the moment. And we had it at a theater on the Lower East Side in Manhattan. It was a very large theater. And then we ended up finding, we got invited to have the show at the Grizzly Pear Midtown, which is a much smaller space, but it's more of it's a comedy club. It's an actual comedy club. And the show did really well there. Like we had sold out crowds. It was so fun. Every single time we did it, the show was better and better. We're taking a break at the moment, but he and I talked about once we're both back in LA, we're probably going to put on another one there. And then we'll see where it goes. We'll see how big it grows, where we can take it, what we can do with it. I think we both love the concept. It's just a lot of fun to do. So, yeah.
Okay, so you both of them, you are on stage when you do it? Like, how many comics are on stage when you do
We
it?
are both on stage.
Okay, wow.
We start the show with both he and I on stage talking about the show, like introducing it. And then we'll have an audience confessional. And, as a congregation, we'll decide if it's a sin or not. And then we'll bring up, guest comics. They'll do their sets. And then in between comics, we'll do maybe another confession, or I'll do a set, or we'll do a set. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So
We
I'm
have some more,
curious.
I know some more comics from New York as well. One is called Raza. If you Raza Dots, like his Instagram is there, like if you have met him, or Vikrant. Like he does a show in I think like 24/7, like what's the US equivalent of 24/7, if you guys know? Like the stores who are remain all the time open, like he's in stores standing up.
In and out, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, they
Okay.
have a really great like setup for the show as well. I will send you some clips maybe after this. So yeah,
Yeah.
Datta, you were asking something.
Yeah. So when you get the confessions, you're doing it at the next show. So you get some time interval in between. Do you write material specific to those confessions? I'm curious.
No, we don't. We keep it anonymous. We pull like interesting ones that we think will cause a little bit of controversy with the audience, so that we can actually get a conversation out of them. Like if we find one that we think, oh, the audience will have split views on this, it'll make it more engaging in the moment. So we'll pick that one for the next show, and we'll put that one up on screen.
So
And
crazy
But we don't.
confession, any crazy confession for our viewers, because they can't watch it and we also can't watch their show. So anything that you would like to share? Any?
Oh gosh. The amount of people who have put hot sauce and laxatives in things is surprising.
wow.
I'll say that. Yeah.
Dude. I mean, is it for shared lunch and people who are stealing lunches and everything? Or is it
Yeah,
just vengeance?
Vengeance mostly. Mostly revenge. Revenge-based laxatives and revenge-based hot sauce.
Oh, wow.
And then they were
I
taking
would like
revenge on their boss, exes, or like family, friends. They didn't tell that, or like.
I
Okay.
no comment.
Okay.
I'm gonna get someone fired probably.
Yeah.
Cause a divorce.
I'm still curious about the mechanics and logistics of this show. Let's say you get a very tame audience, one show, and you don't have any interesting confessions that week or for the next show. Are you tempted to take something from the internet?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a really interesting one on like Reddit confessions, and I think it's like, oh, the audience will love this. We can take it and use it, but I will say we haven't had to do that yet, because there's been a couple of shows where we've had really like a lot of people participate. So even the shows that maybe less people participate, we still have a whole bucket full to like pull from.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
good. And also, by the way, I saw the lineup of the 2 or 3 shows, and there seems to be a pattern there. I saw a lot of Indian names, lots of non-American names. Is this
Diversity,
deliberate?
diversity, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We try and focus as much as possible on getting non-straight white male comics, although that happens, and we apologize when it does. We try not to. But it also is a show where we put our friends on stage, and both Yash and I are Middle Eastern people,
Yes.
and my community is very like in the Arab comedy world. Yash is Assyrian, Iraqi, so he also knows a lot of Arab comics. He
His
knows a lot
name
of
sounds very Indian actually.
Central.
Yash sounds, it's a very Indian name.
Yes.
I thought he was,
Really?
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, yeah,
he'll
yeah.
tell you it's Assyrian. He'll tell you everything is Assyrian. I will go walking down the street with him, and he'll be like, "Oh, do you know how fire hydrants Assyrians created those?" Like I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like the wheel created by Assyrians. You say so?
This
All right.
attitude too is very Indian.
Yeah,
Just saying.
Yeah.
We should also call him on our future. Like, please recommend us to him as well.
Oh, please.
That's how you are
Oh,
getting
he would love
guests.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally, what a full circle.
Yes.
Yeah.
We started with this,
Yeah.
and you have a new guest now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you make family, right? You meet friends and you become friends, and then and
Yeah.
and one day you become as huge as China, right? You transport and you exercise tariffs on other countries. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the China.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
So someday Rahul is going to witness 2 people fighting on a beach on some other foreign soil. So well done, Rahul.
Come to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It happens every day.
Yeah. But Brooklyn has its own thing. Yeah.
Okay, so let's end the podcast here, and because Rupali has to also leave, and I think you must have other spots and writing to do as well.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. So
I gotta
please
get
follow
going.
Laura Laham on our Instagram. We will put the link in description, and also Rupali Tyagi as well. Any other work, if you like me to like put in the description, then please do let me know. We will
Plug.
like plug the link there.
If you have any upcoming shows, Rupali or Laura, you can plug it in. I'm sure Indians might not be there, but
Might not.
Indians who are
If
viewing
you come to
in.
India, if you are planning to come to India, like then maybe one day. Are you planning to come to India again? Like you can tour here now. We have so many
I'm sure
comedians in
some
India.
of your friends are getting divorced now and getting married again soon.
Hilarious. Yeah, I'm open to the idea. One of my good friends does a lot of touring in India. He's originally from Delhi. He lives in Toronto now. Ashwin Singh.
Yeah, we know
He's
him.
also
Yeah.
yeah. And then over the pandemic, I met Danny Fernandez
Oh, right,
Yes.
yeah.
also.
Yeah, I just
So
met him last week actually. Yeah, he's great.
yeah, he's wonderful. So maybe in the future there is some sort of tour we'll put together.
Yes.
We'll see.
Oh,
Okay, cool guys.
fantastic.
Bye bye everyone.